Hello to everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name's Demortom, and welcome to Common Sense and Chaos. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to go through the dev stream that Funcom released for Isle of Siptah. We're going to talk about KiahOnFire. Again, thank you so much. She reacted not only to the post that was made, she reacted to the video. I am ever so grateful and humbled. That is how I want my community, without a doubt, is people talking. And that's part of what we're going to do. We're going to go over what we saw in the dev stream. I'm going to leave a link of it in the description, along with KiahOnFire. One more thank you, huge thank you to her for answering back. And I'm also going to go over her text to me, answering some of those questions that were posed by the community and around her specific answers to those questions, at least what she could. So I'm not going to hold you up, but this is going to go kind of fast. We're going to touch on various subjects that were in this stream. So stick with me and let's do this together.
How excited are you that this is not just one dungeon? It's actually a whole new map and a lot of new content, including a whole lot of new dungeons. So tell me in chat. We have tons of, we have a 2. I'm not too happy about that too. Lots of 10s. There's an 11. There's several 11s. 3,000. Oh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much.
So kind of mixed reactions to the Isle of Siptah, how it's going to come out as a new map, not as an independent dungeon, although having several parts to it. Not really surprising. The community's kind of mixed on this. As she stated, she saw some 2s and some 10s and some 11s and some 3,000s, so kind of typical.
I know we've been a little bit lack with streams, but let me assure you, we'll work on that. We'll get better. There will be more streams. We do want to talk to you. We really enjoy engaging with our community, and it will happen.
So yeah, chat, absolutely wonderful to hear from Funcom. Yes, this is going to happen. Yes, we will be talking to you guys in the future, more open, more forward. Fantastic to hear. Natasha, without a doubt, has been one of the openest players in the community, I would say. The engagement director truly is a great title for her. She has done very well in the past. I would expect her to do no less in the future. Okay. So in case you're wondering who these guys are, Joe Bylos is the creative director. Scott Jr. is the project director from North Carolina, who actually came back to Oslo. He got trapped out there. You guys can watch the stream and find out. But again, these are the top 2 people when it comes to the decisions in Conan before they go and get finalized. The project director makes sure everything goes the direction it should, meets milestones, make sure its task times are on project and on point. And the creative director's job is to take the creative team and make the ideas and thoughts and concepts and devs and all that stuff all come together as a neat package in line with the project director.
We started development on it in November of last year, I believe. So it was originally supposed to be a little bit different than it ended up being. We were going to make a smaller map, but then due to COVID and some delays, we ended up adding some additional features.
So as you heard, they had started the development of this clear back in November of last year. So it's taken them, chat, nearly a year to get back to this with this particular content. And it started out as something much different. As he said, the animal morphed, basically, from, and I'm paraphrasing, from COVID. Their offices were closed for outside offices for Portugal and things like that, making it very difficult for them to do anything else.
So Scott, can you tell us a bit about how the 2 connect, like the base game, Conan Exiles and Isle of Siptah? how do those two connect?
So they're still the same core game there, and the same crafting system and harvesting system and thralls, etc.
So I hope you were listening, chat. At its core, it is still the same base game. Thralls, harvesting, all of it.
It's located in a different area, so
It's important to mention
the character goes there.
It's important to mention that you actually do start with a new character from scratch.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So, if you didn't know it for sure, you definitely know it now. Yes, you have to make a new character. Completely.
How do DLCs work? Like the things you get in Siptah and vice versa, right? Can you tell a little bit about that?
Sure. So when you're playing Shipta, if you've bought DLCs for Conan Exiles, they will work in Shipta. So any of the cosmetic DLCs or the writers, that all works for you in Shipta. So you're able to build any of the building sets, have the visual cosmetics, the culture packs. That's all fine. Also, when you buy Shipta, you can build the two building sets that are included in Shipta in the Exiled Lands. You can use the cosmetic armors that are from part of Shipta in the Exiled Lands. You can use the Rhino mount in the Exiled Lands, and there's something I'm missing. Well, anyway, the building sets, the armors, and the Rhinos, those all work.
Simple. If you have it, you can use it.
And how does it work for server owners? That's definitely something. Or how do you choose, basically, how do you play? That's a question that came up from the community, of course, as well.
Yeah, so either this week or on Monday, we'll post a guide essentially on how to set up your server. The short version is there's an engine.ini file. You just make a small edit to that and you can select Shipta or enter Shipta for there. Another really cool feature is that with Shipta, we've changed the base game so that we now support community created maps. So these will have to be loaded as a mod, but you'll be able to sort by them from the map UI. You'll be able to select them, and essentially, mod makers can make their own maps now and really make their own games.
Yeah. So, did you hear that, chat? Let me be clear. Two things. One, once you buy Shipta, everything is portable back and forth. In other words, if you buy Shipta and the DLC that comes with it, then you also will have that in the Exiled Lands, and vice versa. So chat, two things to take away from this. One, you will have to buy Shipta to be able to use that DLC in the Exiled Lands. Equally the same, all the stuff you have in the Exiled Lands will be usable in Shipta. If you've bought the DLC, it'll be there. The second thing is, this now opens up map creation for modders on these lands. Now that in itself, how cool. How seriously cool is that? It is specific, and I don't know if it transports to Exiles, but it's awesome.
Let us just quickly go. We did a test live patch today that changed the temperature system. Maybe you can say just quickly something about that, because that's something that will change both for Conan Exiles and for Isle of Siptah, right, Scott?
Yeah, we did 4 changes to live that are included in Shipta, which will impact the entire game, so Exiled Lands and Shipta. One of those is a quality of life change to the temperature system. So now, if you have armor or clothing that give you heat resistance, they won't negatively impact you in the opposite environment, right? So if you have something that works really, really well in the cold, it's not going to adversely affect you in the warm instead. So this will allow you to wear, you can do your fashion show and wear what you want. But in the extremes, you still need to be dressed appropriately.
So what this means, chat, is that hopefully the temperature bugs that we all have experienced, where you go with extreme cold to extreme heat, or even light heat, such as traveling from the north up to the far north where the ice giants are, to the volcano, will not be as harsh of an environment change as it has been. It literally has been lethal at some extents. Sounds like they're fixing it. Awesome to hear.
Yeah, we've been running an internal beta for the past couple months, actually. We did one earlier in the year with very, very few people, just to get a quick impression of what we're doing, and then we expanded out to a lot more people recently. And their feedback has been invaluable. We actually completely redesigned one of the systems based on feedback from the beta. Dennis, who you'll talk to later, he's been slaving away, changing how the surge works. So yeah, they've been amazing.
Trolling away, Scott. Trolling away.
Yeah, trolling away. Yeah.
So yeah, chat, they've been running an internal beta test for Siptah and the temperature changes for months now. And they've only recently opened it up. And one of those people that they open it up to is KiahOnFire. So hats off to her. Go over to her channel, let her know how much you appreciate giving the feedback to Funcom for us to experience a better version.
So the Isle of Siptah, what you know is that, or what you can infer from the story is that there's this sorcerer called Shipta. People whisper about him in the dockside taverns of Argos, and they talk about, if you sail too close to this island, there's a magical storm that will wreck you on the shores.
Chat, if you watched my earlier video, we're confirmed. This is in fact the Sorcerer's Island at the top of the Dark Tower, per the Conan lore.
You can find Siptah's journals scattered across the island, his commentaries on things, and you sort of see his journey, and it all sort of accumulates towards the center of the island and the tower at the heart of the mystery. So
this makes me excited, chat. Just like the Exiled Lands, where we got to find the lore for the Witch Queen and why the Exiled Lands were the way they were after the Cataclysm, we're going to be able to find Siptah's journals around the island. As a collectionist, this excites me. I hope it excites the hell out of you.
How do you choose between the two servers? Scott, do you want to quickly explain that?
When you access the map server browser, there's a new drop-down feature, or a drop-down panel where you can select which map you want to load.
So for server owners as well as players, it sounds pretty straightforward. On the main loading screen, you will have the option to click a smaller icon down to the side that specifically designates your Siptah character. And you can click back to the Conan Exile lands for your character there. Not too shabby. Good job, Funcom. Glad you separated these servers out.
And another concern that some players had was that will there still be development on Conan Exiles as well, or will the focus mostly be on Siptah?
We will probably try to focus development on both maps at the same time. So by adding new tools to the toolbox, it's a survival game. We really feel that by adding new features, it's better than adding content to one of the maps.
So for those of you who had fears that this was going to be the phase out, the slow phase out for Conan Exiles, the standard game, it doesn't sound like that to me. It sounds like what they do to one, they will do to the other. What comes from one will come to the other. And maybe that includes legendary weapons. It might not. But ultimately, they're not giving up on Conan Exiles. So breathe a sigh of relief. Know that you're safe, that you're able to continue to play, and that the devs really do strive for this.
And final point that I had in my brain was just there's a lot of Howard and Lovecraft were really good friends, and so Robert E. Howard and Lovecraft, they used to send each other letters all the time and discuss different ideas, and Conan has half a foot in the Cthulhu mythos.
In case you're wondering about the breakdown of the names, Sir Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft were good friends. Sir Robert E. Howard is the one who came up with the Conan idea, and H.P. Lovecraft, of course, gave us the Cthulhu genre and series. They each were good friends. And what he's saying here is Conan Exiles has a foot in the Cthulhu mythos, which would explain to a lot of people the Yogg avatar, most certainly.
Also, for those of you who think we haven't answered enough questions or there's even more, we're very aware. There will definitely be more Q&A developer questions also after release. We also have some blogs coming your way explaining some of the new features, some of the changes. So don't worry, we will try to be as, what's the term? As transparent. Thank you, Rain. As transparent as we can. So if there is something, we will also look at chat and then note those down so we can answer them at a later point in time.
I know your worries. I hear them right now. Funcom has said this before. But they did say they were going to try. And as a community, I would hope that you would lovingly embrace that attempt. Remember, they don't shy away from comments. Just the mean-spirited ones. Constructive criticism is always something they intake, and it sounds like they've got a lot of different venues to do it from. Okay, chat. So the next part in this is going to talk about Dennis Dothet, and they're going to explain, well, he does a much better job of introducing himself, so I'm going to let him, but pay close attention, because he says something significant to the community that you should be aware of.
So Dennis, before we dive into that, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit? How long have you been with Funcom? What do you do?
Yeah, hey. So I have been with Funcom since 2008. I started when we launched Age of Conan, and I started working in customer service. Throughout the years, I've had probably 13 or so different jobs.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, just eventually moved my way into development, which is what I always wanted to do. I knew from when I was in second grade that I wanted to make games for a living, and I've just been working toward it the whole time. This year, after I came back from a brief vacation, I was promoted to lead designer hand in hand with Alex. So essentially, that's just because we have two teams working on the game, and we need to be able to manage two sets of designers.
Lead designer takes care of two teams at Funcom, and he's a gamer. That's important.
So Dennis, there are quite a few very cool, unique new mechanics on Siptah. And while we have like weather effects on Conan Exiles on the original map, like the sandstorm, there is snow and rain, there is a quite different weather occurrence on Siptah, right? It's less natural. So why don't you start telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Joel touched on this a bit when he was talking, but essentially in the story, there are whispers to sailors that if they get too close to this island, that they may become shipwrecked by it. And I don't want to, just like Joel mentioned, I'm not going to spoil the story entirely here, but essentially what you'll see whenever you play is that this storm is one of the many mechanics that are in the map. And it'll be something similar to the way the sandstorm works, where it's something that periodically occurs on the map. It's not going to be there all the time. It's going to have very unique effects compared to the sandstorm. And if you watch the developer video, it talks a little bit more about what's going to happen in that storm. The reveal video. And one of the things that we had initially was that we had the idea in the exiled lands that the sandstorm would cause creatures to spawn and attack you. And we kind of wanted to live up to that promise in Siptah and say that we have this storm that occurs, and then while you're in it, you're attacked by monsters.
Finally, chat, it's been a long time coming, but it sounds like these effects actually do meet the opening of not only Conan Exiles, but they actually have significance here at the Isle of Siptah.
There are several major systems that come into play in this map, and all of them are intertwined. So participating in one lets you participate in another, and so on. And the vaults are essentially our new dungeons. There are 14 vaults in the Isle of Siptah. All of them have unique monsters. And this goes back to the storm as well. I actually can't even tell you the number of new monsters we've added. There are new monsters, new attacks. It's a whole slew of new stuff.
So everything interacts with one another. Nothing is separate. Each one of these 14 vaults contains their own boss monsters, etc. That's exciting. That's like getting 14 new dungeons all in one. I'm pretty stoked.
And also what I'm excited about is that they actually have puzzles as well, right?
New puzzles? Awesome! Head scratchers? Beware. Sounds like it's gonna be fun.
The puzzles inside, and each of the vaults have some unique mechanics and puzzles to work through as you go through them.
That's what I am personally very excited about, because I always felt that dungeons that doesn't, it's not just about fighting your way through, but it's also like figuring out which combinations to use, where do I actually have to go, because some of those dungeons are also vertical now. They're not just like horizontal, so you have to actually find your way up and down and sideways, and almost a little bit labyrinthy as well, depending on which of the walls we're talking about.
This one goes out to Funcom and to the gamers. Thank you so much for making the changes to make dungeons more complicated, more in-depth, able to go into newer areas, as well as how you go through those areas, vertical, horizontal, labyrinth type dungeons. I'm thrilled. I think this is fantastic. Thank you.
The surges, because they're actually connected directly to the vault and to the storm as well.
Yeah, so the surge, as we mentioned in the reveal video, is going to be the way that you obtain thralls on the Isle of Siptah. As you play, there won't be just static camps of thralls that you would encounter, and you kind of just pick and choose the ones that you want out of it.
So what he's saying here is there's another mechanic you can use to get thralls, not just static camps, but these surges that you create will not only fling some out into the world of Siptah, but will also drop from the sky where you can knock them out. And it sounds like you can choose your class, not the type.
You can also kind of control how tough and how strong the thralls are that you can also capture, right?
Again, confirmed. Yes, we can summon levels of toughness for our thralls. And I think this is tiers 1 through 4 with named thralls available as well, based on what we do for the mechanics.
And also, there is kind of a danger of doing this, though, because like we just see here now, it's actually possible for other players to like infiltrate and disrupt you trying to get those maybe very powerful thralls.
Yes, as I mentioned before, the thralls that spawn into the world it'll be very obvious that they're there. And it's no exception at the Lay Shrines as well. Whenever that event occurs, everyone on the server is going to know what's happening. And anyone that, if you're playing on a PvP server, wants to come and steal from you, you may have to be prepared to defend. One thing that I know I'm pretty sure we don't have in the footage that we've recorded is that there's a deployable defense at the Lay Shrines that'll help you defend against those players, but.
All right, so for your PvPers out there, I'm included, great news. You will have to defend your catch. You're going to have to hold that area, and you're going to have to defend it. It sounds like there's going to be at least one concept for defendable area, as well as its own kind of, I don't know if it's automated or if it's just controlled, but a defensible measure for you being able to get your thralls and keep your people safe while you're going to get them. But as far as PvP, it's all out there. They're saying it right off the bat. There is no one on the server who will not know this is going on. And you need to watch your backside, especially PvP.
Wait, and there's even bosses in there, right? From what I understand.
Yes, there are.
Bosses. Awesome. This is unlike the Purge. Imagine thrall hunting and you come across an in-game boss. That's awesome. On top of defending in a PvP, you got your work cut out for you.
There's one thing I'd like to talk about, I guess, because I think it's a very big deal. On the Isle of Siptah, one of the new recipes that we've added comes whenever you learn how to interact with the Lay Shrines. And that recipe is called the Delving Bench. And the Delving Bench lets you use materials that you find on the island to learn how to research schematics for legendary weapons. So you as a player now, instead of going to grind mobs to get weapons and having to use repair kits to repair them, can learn how to craft legendary weapons and repair them yourself.
All you out there cried for it. I'm one of them. Thank you, Funcom, for hearing us out that we no longer have to repair these legendary weapons with having no knowledge or having some special thrall to do it. Ever thankful. Ever, ever, ever thankful. Thank you, Funcom, for making such a great change to this game. Okay, so that concluded Dennis's side of things. The next person they're going to introduce is Bruno Nunez. And when it comes to art in Conan Exiles and concept art and classifications, he's the top.
Bruno from our studio in Portugal. Bruno is a lead artist over in our CPX studio in Portugal. Maybe you would like to introduce yourself quickly, your history.
Yeah, so my name is Bruno Nunes. I'm from Portugal. I've been working on Conan Exiles, I think, since 2015. Work on the Exile lands, on a bunch of DLCs, and now recently on the Isle of Siptah.
So chat, he's an artist. His concepts and creations have been into the Exile land since 2015. Everything from placeables to weapons to armor, you name it. He has been at Funcom since 2015, influencing his art in it.
And recently, this year, I was named the lead artist on the project. That allows me to work closer to people, closer to artists, art directors and producers, doing time estimates, and a lot of meetings.
So to Mr. Nunez, congratulations on your promotion. 5 years at Funcom has seen you to lead artist. So he's in charge when it comes to the artwork around Funcom, and we're seeing a lot of changes, not a ton of them, but we are seeing changes to people's positions, definitely to their influences. And after 5 years, we're seeing Mr. Nunez stepping forward as the lead artist. And for that, chat, send out some love, give some congratulations, certainly on Twitter or on Twitch. In the process, however, we're not going to go through all of the concept art. I do encourage you to go visit the video that Funcom put out. Do look at them. They're amazing designs. They're beautiful. They're very well done. And certainly tip top, in my book, to this particular isle. But we are going to go into some of the lighting effects and the armors. That's where I want to kind of focus at.
Let's go into something completely different. Armor, the new armors for Shipta. So we have 3 new armors, like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Light, medium, and heavy. And
RP BDSM players, prepare to be in awe.
So the armors are based on the elder races. Well, they are elder races armors. They were used to enslave humans. And because of that, we tried to bring the same aesthetics as the vaults, same inspiration. You'll have a lot of elements of Art Deco there, a lot of the same materials, color schemes from the vaults. In this one, tier 1, you'll see that it's very ornamented. This should be more like a dancer or entertainer. Yeah, it has all those chains. There are golden chains similar to the Grated Walls.
So can we just appreciate the beauty of this, chat? This is a beautiful set of light armor. They have done an incredible job at the detail between the chains and the robes and all of it. I'm thoroughly impressed.
and then we have the tier 2, the medium one, which we have the inspiration and the concept art here,
Yeah.
right in front of us.
If you notice, they all wear masks, and that's
Yeah,
there for a
yeah.
reason. Yeah, it's to hide their humanism. It's to hide the human aspects of the
Oh,
slaves.
wow.
Yeah.
I see. So there always goes a lot of thinking, and there's a lot of it's not just nilly-willy, oh, let's make a cool mask. There's actually lore behind this, and it's linked to the story and everything. It's very interesting. I think it's really interesting for chat to know as well.
So chat, look at this armor. Tier 2, medium armor, gorgeous. Just enough dirt on the surface to make it look like it's old, but absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and then of course we have the tier 3 armor, the heavy one,
Oh yeah.
which looks very different from the others.
Yeah. This is like the pit fighter, the warrior. Like only the best slaves would be granted to use this armor. It's again, it resembles a lot of the Vault lines with the same ornamentation, a lot of Art Deco elements there, same materials. It's made to look aggressive.
And here's your tier 3. I would wear this. Beautiful style, beautiful armor.
I'm not going to talk about the armor stats right now because this ties into the new temperature system, so it doesn't really make that much sense at the moment, but we'll definitely cover the details of these new armors.
So chat, we've already heard about the temperature system changing. We heard that from Doug when he was explaining that in the test live servers, they had actually changed the system by which armors calculated heat and cold. So I don't quite understand why this one got held off.
It's the first thing that you encounter when you start playing the map. You'll be surrounded by a lot of shipwrecks. And this is the first thing that you start to do, is to collect all the wood planks to make your first shelter.
And now we see the tier 1 building pieces, how the design and the concept art came along.
And one thing I have to say, because you can actually build a 3 cities with this particular set.
Look at that ladder, people. That is 4 foundations high. That's impressive to me. It is a beautiful set, without a doubt. If you look at it, the concept art came to life in a very real way. And tree cities? We kind of already have those, but this looks far more refined. Square, but better. Like I said, we're not going to get into every detail, but I do swear to you, you should go check out the video, watch it yourself. It's about an hour long, but it goes into greater detail. You'll get to see more details from these particular building pieces. We're just doing a quick synopsis, so go check it out.
The roofs they have a lot of holes, and the light comes in, and it creates a very good effect, especially with the new lighting system that we have now.
New lighting system, chat. Open air venues with light coming through.
This one I am incredibly excited about. Stormglass.
Yeah, this one has a lot of features.
Yes. So
features,
tell us all the details.
Okay, so I think this is the first time we introduce glass on a building set. I don't remember anything like this before. But this set is pretty much an extension of the vaults. We wanted to recreate the vaults on a building set. So it's using the same materials, the same huge black stones, and the golden ornaments. Yeah, but the new thing is you can have now roof windows made out of glass.
Mm-hmm.
You have you can have like a whole facade made out of glass if you want, and it's cool because you can be playing. You can be outside and see what the players are doing outside and trying to get in, and they both can see you from inside as well. So it's a new thing that we have going on here. There's a lot of
you'll see it in action here. It's fantastic. It's like
Yeah.
you can literally see through it. So if you build a castle like this and you have an army incoming, you will see where they're coming from. You will see them because you see real time through the glass. You'll see the sunlight coming through the glass. It's absolutely beautiful. It's breathtaking.
Glass, people, finally. Oh, Funcom, thank you so much for listening. And real-time look-through. You heard it. You will be able to see inside. You will be able to see outside. It is real-time with lighting effects. Fantastic, Funcom. Oh, man, if I could blow a party favor right now, I would. I am so looking forward to the set, and it's gorgeous. The gold with the bluish-black stonework in it. I can't wait to build with this. I honestly can't. Can any of you? Leave a comment. Can any of you leave some love for Funcom?
It was built with vertical construction in mind. We wanted to make this idea of like skyscrapers. You can have vertical construction and almost build a city like this.
Yes, more vertical construction, less of a footprint, and beautiful.
Some players in chat say that, we need faster elevators, and yeah, we should, I guess, maybe.
Funcom, this should not be a maybe. It should be a flat-out yes. The community has been screaming this for a long time. Tall elevators take Forever. I've lost thralls on them. Show of hands in chat. Who has lost a thrall on a tall elevator? Or worse than that, who's lost an entire building floor because one elevator got broken?
Here we go.
Here we go is right, chat. You asked for it. You begged for it. A new mount. We have the new Rhinos. That's right. Rideable Rhinos. Going to both Siptah and the Exiled Lands. Incredible.
So the new Rhinos, let me tell you about the Rhinos quickly. Maybe actually you want to start with some art information, Bruno?
Yeah, we have a few skins for the rhinos. There's yeah, you have a lot of variety choosing a rhino on the wildlife. There's a bunch of wildlife, and rhinos have a lot of skins.
The skin you're seeing here is the early access reward skin for those who get early access. My hope is that we won't apologize to console players for not receiving this. Hopefully they will have their own.
All right, here we go. So let's start this over again. So we have 3 different rhinos here, 3 different rhino skins. And we have 3 different travel saddles that are light, medium, and heavy. They're shown here. And those travel saddles are mostly influencing stamina and speed. Because the rhino, compared to the horse, has more hit points and it has more stamina. But it's also slightly more difficult to control because of that. So you are way harder to knock down from a rhino than from a horse, but you will have a harder time like turning fast on a rhino, for example. So we also have 2 additional saddles, which we'll see in a little bit, like this one.
Yeah, basic.
Exactly.
I think we have basic.
The
This is
cavalry saddle.
Yeah, based on Cambodian shaman. This one, same ornaments, and this is I think metal cast, with a lot of African tribal elements.
So
yeah.
the cavalry saddle actually has high max speed, but it runs out of stamina way quicker. While the war saddle that has all those like heavy things around literally turns your rhino into a tank. So you have way more hit points, or way more stamina actually. So it's even harder to knock you from your mount, but it's also way slower. So there's like, you can kind of decide what kind of play style you'd like. Do you want to be a tank, or you want to be somewhere a bit more flexible, right?
Yes, yes, please. If I'm riding a rhino, I want to be a tank. But I understand flexibility. Most of this content I'm not going to fast forward through. We have all been waiting for this. This is huge. But some questions do come up that do need answered.
Will Rhino deal building damage? It's actually a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I need to check that.
Yes, Natasha, please. And Funcom, check that. We all want to know.
So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. If I want agile, I use a horse. Exactly. So you have these tank, harder to control, rhino. All right.
It's not gonna be hard to control at all. It feels right.
That's true, but it doesn't feel as, you know, it doesn't react as fast as the horse, right? It's like if you want to turn fast, still you can still do the sprint turn thing, but it's still not as fast as a horse. Especially if you want to ride in a circle, you have to make a way wider circle than you do with a horse. So it feels right, like you just mentioned. It just feels right. It's great.
Okay, so the part in there that you didn't hear was from Nicole. It talks about the attacks of the Rhino. So it'll have a charge, it'll have a basic attack, and then by hitting the spacebar, it'll have a maul or swipe attack, hitting all the enemies in front of it. I hope that brings this to kind of a summation for you, what we can look forward to. I'm looking forward to Rhinos. I sure as hell hope you are as well. Absolutely cannot tell you how ecstatic I am. New saddles, these new mounts, they offer some lesser turning ability, it sounds like, than the horse. And now enter Nicole, longtime community manager for Funcom. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, Nicole.
Hello, and hello, chat. Yeah, it's been a while.
And it's been a while.
Yeah, last developer stream. Yes.
Yeah.
So Nicole here is one of our community managers for Conan Exiles. Most of you definitely know her from the forums, from social media, from everywhere really. She is our little fairy, our I don't know. What could we say? She's our good godmother, like taking good care of the
Oh, that's
community
very cute. Thank
and the
you.
players.
Yeah, I try.
So we also will have someone else joining us.
So I'm going to let this person introduce themselves. Very special to me, very, very special to my daughter, who's a huge fan. If you've ever been in the community chat channels, if you have looked on any YouTube videos for Conan Exiles, without a doubt, she is one of the foremost players in that and helpers.
Oh, hi, Kiah. It's so good to have you on stream. So we have with us here, unfortunately not with the camera, but with her lovely voice, we have KiahOnFire joining us, one of our content creators. I'm so glad. Thank you
Yay.
so much for joining us. That's amazing.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's great to see this all coming finally out, you know.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
finally. She just spoiled a little bit, but Kiah was actually one of our intern or like closed beta testers. She has been with Siptah for a while and given her feedback. But I'll let Nicole and Kiah have been working together quite a bit.
I am so infinitely jealous in both directions.
Our testers, and Kiah, of course, on the tester side. So I'll let you two discuss this a little bit. While we're also looking at screenshots from our beta testers, by the way, the screenshots that you
Yes.
see right now are all from testers.
We've had incredible screenshots. But yeah, I just want to say that everybody who was in the beta has been amazing. It's been and they've been invaluable. And it was really fun to be a part of. I feel like I've gotten really close to a lot of them. And yeah, Kiah was a part of it, and that was awesome. But yeah, I think a lot of people in chat recognize you, which is awesome. You have an amazing YouTube channel where you put all kinds of tips and tricks and suggestions of how to play. But I guess we could just start off with like, how did you get into Conan and how did you start making videos for it?
Oh wow, yeah. So I started playing Conan back in like early 2018. So it's been about like 2.5 years now. And it really like sparked my interest due to like the way you play it and enjoy it. There's like so many ways you can do that. I just love it, you know. So it's funny enough, how I came about the game was actually word from Firespark at the time. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah. Well, we had a friend in common, and I worked for them as a community manager. So, you know, so when the game came, well, when you were about to release the full game back then, we did a mini series together on YouTube. And I believe he came in at episode 3, and we were going to go defeat that big black hairy spider boss. You know that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So you imagine how that went early level. It wasn't good. But yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
What I thought is interesting that you mentioned that this whole, aspect of creating your own story, right? I think that's an incredibly strong aspect of Conan Exiles because we give you so many tools. Like you can use mods and soon with the map importer, so you can literally build your own story. You can build and play your own story. You can create your own world, right? And I think that's something that is so interesting because you can tell a story. You can tell your own story. You can tell a story for other people, and I think that's one of the strongest aspect of Conan Exiles.
Yeah, the RP community is incredible.
Exactly.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
strong. Someone else mentioned or asked in chat, how can we join the beta? Well, like we will notice you if you do content for Conan Exiles. We love our community and our content creators. We are definitely we can definitely also improve in letting them know, definitely. But as a start, if you send me a DM on Twitter, it's at Tasha with SCHROE. Please, if you do create content, let me know. I'm always happy to talk. And also, just send us screenshots, tag us. If you have a video, tag at Conan Exiles or hashtag Conan Exiles so it's easy for us to find so we can see what kind of content you are creating. We
Oh
wanna see it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome
Give me
that
that
you
sweet
guys
content.
reached out and everything. But I was really happy, speaking about the beta, to see so many like modders in there and all of that, I was really happy to see them there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We've been trying to find new ways to also, make sure the modders know that we appreciate them. I mean, there is a specific Discord for the modders, of course, where quite a few of our developers are very active, on purpose, of course. But like from the community side or from our side, we can definitely, or we definitely have plans to highlight our modders better as well, because they are the bread and butter of Conan Exiles. And specifically for RP communities, it's just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see what they come up with the new map importer as well. This is going to be freaking amazing.
And it was pretty important in the beta to get people that were experienced in different areas. So like for building and RP and PvP and all of that, and the modders and streamers and all of that, just to get perspective and feedback from all corners, pretty much.
How has that experience been for you, Kiah? Like with interacting with a little bit more with the developers, or giving like direct feedback on something that is still in development?
I really actually appreciated being able to, give the full feedback. I did like a full, I always kept the forums posted if I found a bug or anything. And they were really helpful. It was nice to see, like, when you found something, maybe like a few days later, that bug would get patched. And it was just, it gave you a whole new kind of respect on it. Just seeing how it works on the inside. Just massive respect to them and their game, They were doing a lot for it.
That's really nice of you to say. I think the team really appreciates. I think the team really appreciates that too, because the thing is that that was one of the ideas with the beta, of course. So we have a little bit of a longer lead up time, so we can actually react to feedback from the community, because sometimes it's just not possible in terms of how we already plan our development. And then feedback comes in, and you've already set your deadlines and everything, and your milestones and your cutoffs for those specific deadlines and milestones that you have to keep. But with having a beta like that in place, and Scott touched on that a little bit as well, it gives us way more leeway. It gives us better planning as well, and it's just really great to get the feedback from the community. All right. What do you say, girls? Do we want to chat like for 5 more minutes so we can do another giveaway?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, let's do that. We'll chat another 5 more minutes and do another giveaway. All right.
I did want to ask Kiah, so since you've been playing for a while now, what would you say is like your favorite part of the experience, or just like playing like in the map and stuff?
Ooh.
I know.
Really
you can pick one if you want.
All right. I do have a couple. I gotta say though, it's gotta be the Elder Vaults. It really has to be. They just win it for me, especially the climbing one that you showed on the trailer with the cages.
Yeah.
That one's my actual favorite one, and I just loved it because it was so different with all the puzzles that they have. It's not your normal dungeon.
Yeah.
It's something you need to like use your brain a little bit more, which I actually really appreciate. So. And there was this other one with, am I allowed to say this? It's like, it fills with water and it's really scary.
Oh, yeah. I actually, we did show, I mean, there's some footage in the video, and I also used some footage when we talked about the waltz with Dennis. And I love that too. I actually got stuck in that one when I played it for the first time. I got lost. Yeah, I'm horrible. That's the reason I'm also called the headless chicken, because I get lost everywhere.
Oh,
it's the worst.
Yeah, aesthetically, like the underwater one, like I don't even know if I know the name of it. I don't know if I want to say it.
No,
don't want to spoil. Okay. Yeah, just aesthetically, it's all very, very pretty.
Yeah, like we talked about that earlier, that I just love the fact that not only the puzzles, but that each of them has like its like unique feel and theme and challenges.
Yes.
And it's all linked to the race that's kind of living there, right? So it's fantastic. I can't wait for our players to experience those as well.
So until we don't pull a Tom Holland.
Okay, chat. So if you're curious, I am muting some portions where Kiah is not viable in that chat, and I'm going to take a second to tell you. After I sent out the video, Kiah sent me back some information, specifically through a reply. She says, I'm truly sorry to you and your daughter. I've had some similar issues come with me recently. However, the worry was that the nitrado fully wiping their map progress on PC. About the questions, I can probably answer quite a few. One of them, she says, is the map designed to stop all current issues in CE? I can already tell you, no, it is not. That's because the game is still running off the same engine and some of the same assets. Also, it's quite impossible to get the game that would be 100% bug-free. There is no game out there that with no bugs. I fully understand that. And as you heard her say, she is in test live, and they were working on the fixes as she found them.
I did have one more question for Kiah.
Go ahead.
And that's like, so obviously, like we said, you have a YouTube channel that's full of tips and tricks for people. For people first playing, do you have like one hint or like maybe just one suggestion that you would give people for starting out on Siptah? I mean, if you don't know words, but like, yeah.
No, I got one. When you're on starting, if you're on the beaches, you'll see like a ton of shipwrecks. There's some hidden chests around the place. Definitely go and check all of them out because that'll get you really nice and set up for the start. Because you'll get all this like, you get some nice tidbits on loot, so it's quite nice if you go and get those.
A very good tip.
All right.
Also, do not build in middle of the map. That's all I'm saying.
Did you have personal experience with that?
Maybe.
If you didn't hear her and you don't heed the warning, you're going to pay for it. Do not build in the middle of the map.
Listen to Kiah. Listen to her.
The next question that was posed was about crossplay to platforms. We have all answered this. Funcom has answered this in the past, and Kiah also said the same thing. It is a tabled idea. That does not mean that it has been eliminated as a possibility, but as far as PC, Xbox, and PlayStation being able to cross-platform in the exiled lands, both in Siptah and in Conan Exiles, the main game itself, it is currently not what they're focusing on. They are focusing on the bugs, they're focusing on stability, they are focusing on their efforts in that.
Remember, chat, if there are questions, more detailed questions that we haven't answered either in Scott or Joel's segment, in Dennis's segment, or in the asset segment, we will definitely get back to it. We will keep an eye on our social media channels, on our forums, what the questions are. We already have even more questions that we know that you are wanting answers to, but we also know that there's some blogs coming out and there's more content coming out where we explain all those things in details. So don't worry, we hear you. We will answer your questions as much as we can.
Funcom is listening, people. Shout out.
Kiah, thank you so very much for joining us. It was lovely having you.
So on behalf of my community as well as to my family, Kiah, thank you so much personally for being there. One of the last questions was exclusive content for consoles. I'll go ahead and just leave that down in the description of this video as a quick answer. You guys can take a look at it. Kiah's invited me to talk to her more about it, so hopefully we'll get some more answers. Maybe she asked some of those questions off camera if they gave her an opportunity.
And
Please do remember
to check out Kiah's channel, KiahOnFire.
Yes. Remember to follow. Actually, we should paste that in chat. You see, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Restream is being difficult. We'll definitely mention it as well in the recap of the stream. KiahOnFire, make sure to follow her, subscribe to her on YouTube and check out her videos. She makes fantastic videos, especially also if you're a new player to Conan Exiles. Remember, Conan Exiles is currently in a free weekends. It's also, the base game is also 60% off, 65% even off, I think, if I remember correctly. And Siptah is coming out on the 15th, and Siptah is going to be a completely fresh new start. So if you're new to Conan Exiles, you can absolutely play Shipta if you want to, and you can jump into the free weekend and actually get a little bit of a taste what Conan Exiles feels like, and then jump into Shipta. I'm sorry, I just hit my microphone. pro host here. You can jump into the free weekend right now to check it out, and then also try Shipta if you want to on the 15th of September on Steam. Nicole, thank you so much for joining me as well. Absolutely. It was lovely having you on stream. We'll have to do that sometime again, sometime soon. Maybe make it happen. I know it will happen.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, people will tell you what to think. Friends ask you what you think. So what do you think? Leave a comment down below, and while you're there, hit that like and subscribe button. Stay safe and take care.